We want to begin because I know it's hot out here, and just want to thank everybody for coming. Obviously, all the dignitaries that are here, Councilman McGyver, Councilwoman McGyver from Central Ward, Councilman Ramos, Councilman Quintana, and the entire council, those that are not here as well. Governor Cody, our county executive, Joe DiVincenzo, Congressman Series, representative from Congressman Payne office as well. I want to thank everybody for coming. A lot of you showed up here for this. Before I begin, I just want to address the headline of the NJ.com last night. So, this is not our way of saying it is over. So let's just get this out first and clear before it is befuddled, convoluted, turned into something that we did not say. This is not an opportunity for us to say the lead issue in Newark is finished. However, it is our opportunity to share good news in the spirit of all of the craziness that's been going on for a long time. Thought maybe you guys would like to report some good news for a chance. Particularly since it took us about 3 years to get to a point where we have begun testing and our levels are showing parts per billion below 15, right? And that is a significant milestone for us in the city. Obviously, these findings have to be confirmed or approved by NJDEP. And we want to make sure that we understand it, we let them understand that we do understand that. But we're so excited. We're so happy that our numbers are below 15 parts per billion because we've been doing work. And what does it say? It says that the orthophosphate works. And more than anything, I think that's the important thing to take away from this if you don't take away anything else. All the fighting, the name calling, the lies. We should be doing this in this war. We should be doing that. We don't know what we're doing. Thank God for Kareem Adeem, CDM Smith, all of the scientists and engineers that worked with us and thought it not robbery to be here with us today to make sure and stayed on it without fail through a storm, making sure that they tested the orthophosphate, that it went in, that they did things over and over and over and over and over again. And here we are now. And so I'm happy to report well, I'll let Kareem report the latest testing lead level results and how to explain that. Even though I became an expert on water, he's more of an expert than me. But this is where we are. We've also replaced how many lead service lines? 12,600 lead service lines that will probably be finished replacing lead service lines. We probably will take us about 2.5 years to do something that would have taken us 10. And while people all over the country are still trying to figure out how to change their lead service lines, as a matter of fact, there is a bill being contemplated in D.C. Asking for billions of dollars for folks to replace lead service lines around the country. Around the country. I know some of us believe Newark is the country, but around the country, people are replacing lead service lines. We won't be able to get any of that money, but at the end of the day, I'm so grateful and thankful to God that we were able to get to this point with the work that we've done here. So, I am, overwhelmed, and I want to be able to bring Kareem Adeem up, and also somebody that he has represented for CDM Smith is going to come up too. Shadow, you come up? Okay. He'll come up and talk to us this morning about the finding. So, thank God that we are here. you know, by the grace of God, we got to this point today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everybody. This is Tom Schottel, CDM. It's an historic moment for the city. A little over 20 months ago, my predecessor, my mentor, my sister, Andrea Adebawale, and the mayor stood up and we rolled out a 4-point plan to reduce the exposure to lead, filters, public education, orthophosphate, and lead service line replacement. Today, we're seeing the effects of the orthophosphate. Preliminary results are in, still need to be approved by the DEP, but the numbers right now look at to be preliminary 14.1 parts per billion that the city lead sampling is in for 172 tests that we perform in 172 locations, sampling pool and customer requests. Today is also historic because, you know, we want to thank our state and county partners too for us being able to get the $120 million, especially out to the county, Joe D and everybody over here, right, to help us expedite this program, right, to remove 12,600 lead services. 12,600 lead services. Prior to that, like the mayor said, it was going to be a 10-month thing. We had only removed 700 services before we got the 120 million. Look at the work right here. The job programs that we created with moving the lead service line replacement, we were able to put about 40 Newark residents in local unions through apprenticeship programs to get jobs to know how to replace lead services. That's a huge accomplishment to the administration. Hats off to the mayor for seeing that. You know, I didn't see it, but he was focused on seeing it, making sure that some of the Newark residents are also replacing lead services in homes that they live in or their families live in and getting paid to do it. So that was a great accomplishment. We've worked hard. I want to hats off to not only CDM and all our other consultants that came with us, the US EPA O&D laboratory, right, that did the research with us on the pipe scale, DEP, you know, their support and going back and giving us guidance. I probably learned more about lead and copper in the last 3 years than I ever thought I would learn in my life, right, just lead and copper. And I learned more, I learned a little less than the mayor, because the mayor's the expert, not me, when it comes to getting up here. So I just want to turn it over to Tom Schottel. And again, I want to thank the city of Newark residents, Newark strong, Newark forward, because we came together, right? The city residents came together, even during the COVID-19 period, right? They cooperated with us. The contractors suited up with the masses, the Tyrex suits, the booties, everything to go in the house and replace the lead service line. We were so far ahead that when we slowed down just a little bit to take precaution, we still were meeting numbers of 40 to 50 a day to replace these lead service lines. We were at 110. We went back down to 40 or 50, just being cautious, right? Not to be exposed to COVID-19 or have any of the residents. And I want to thank the residents, right? Because they deserve more than anybody. Their patience with the roadblocks, the detour and the traffic, you know, us pounding them to, you know, get the water testing kits back to us, all those type of things, right? And I just want to thank my staff, my executive team, that, you know, those late hours is finally paying off. Here you go, Tom Schottel.
Thank you, Kareem. It's really great to be here to celebrate this remarkable achievement in the city of Newark. It really begins with leadership, the mayor, the administration, the council, and most and foremost, the people of the city of Newark. We would not have been able to make this progress in such a short period of time without the full cooperation of the people of the city. So it's a great day to celebrate. We still got quite a bit more work to do before we can say we're done, but we're on the right path, and grateful to be part of this great accomplishment.
So I just want to bring up some other folks that came here to show support today, have been supporting us for a while. First, I would like to bring up, allow Councilman Series to come and have remarks, please.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I was here when you first had the first conference about the lead on the pipes. And I left scratching my head because I knew what kind of a job was ahead. But I never expected to see the kind of work and the kind of leadership that you and the people working together. This has been an example for the rest of the country. When people get together and they work together, they can solve any problem. I saw you step forward. I saw the county executive step forward with money. I saw Cory Booker put in, and working with my colleague, Don Payne, we worked on that bill. But unfortunately, the wheels of Congress and the wheels of the Senate are very slow. But Mayor, you roll up your sleeve, the county executive rolled up his sleeves, the governor was involved, everyone was involved, and here we are today, an example to the rest of the country. People are still talking about Michigan. We're talking in Newark about finishing this job in the next few years. So this is a credit to your administration, a credit to working together with the county, a credit to working together with the governor, and I hope that some of the money that we put in, maybe we can make it retroactive so you can get some of that and cover the expenses that you have had here. So I'm happy to be here. I'll be here for you when you need me. Mayor, congratulations for this kind of work. County Executive, great job. And the state and the governor. Thank you very much.
I'd like to allow remarks from Congressman Payne's office.
Thank you, Mayor Baraka. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Congressman could not be here today because of some scheduling conflict, but he's here in support and asked me to read a statement on his behalf. And he also wanted me to commend Mayor Baraka for his leadership and in this efforts. So I'd just like to read what Congressman Payne sent. Good morning. I'm pleased and relieved that the level of lead in Newark's water have fallen below the federal exceedance level. As a representative and resident of Newark, I've been working to improve the water in Newark from the moment lead levels in the city waters were found to exceed federal standards for health and safety. Just yesterday, I voted for the Moving Forward Act, which contains an amendment that will provide $22.5 billion for nationwide effort to replace lead pipes in city water distribution system. That amendment targets water pipes in low-income community specifically. If it becomes law, Newark will receive millions of dollars to help their efforts to improve their water quality. Before the bill, I took several actions to help protect Newark residents from water quality issues, particularly Newark children. In March, I announced that the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, awarded New Jersey $1.5 million in grant funding to test for lead in drinking water of all city schools and children's facilities. This is the grant that came from my effort in Congress to provide more safety and protection for our nation's school children. 4 years ago, I introduced the Lead for Tests Act to establish stronger tests for lead in school drinking water. The bill received for the full co-sponsors, and I am working to get more of my colleagues to support and pass it on. The Test for Lead Act will require states to help schools establish programs to test for lead in drinking water. If those states receive funding from the Drinking Water State Resolving Fund, this program provides federal funding for water system and state water programs. The bill will require schools to test drinking water, including water from faucet, used for food preparation, sinks, bathroom, water fountains with greater frequency. It will also require local education agency with jurisdiction over the school to notify parents, the administrator of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the state within 48 hours if lead is discovered in the water. As a parent, I want to know that my children have access to clean, reliable water at school. I want the same for the children of our families. We should not be in the dark when it comes to what is children's drinking water. The lead testing is essential for identifying the lead testing is essential for identifying problems with that water. And I read on. But I'm not going to wait for that bill to improve Newark's drinking water. I heard about Newark's water issue, and I volunteer and hand out bottles of water on 2 locations. I wanted to hear from residents about their issues, talk to workers at the center about what they need to serve residents, and get ideas of other ways I will help in Congress. I've been in constant contact with Mayor Ras Baraka locally, and also the chairperson of the Subcommittee on Water Resources and Environment. My colleague on the House Committee on Transportation Infrastructure to find out if there is another funding we can obtain in helping the city of Newark. In conclusion, as a son of Newark, I'm pleased to hear that lead levels have dropped, but we still need to make sure these levels do not rise again. We need to work tirelessly to guarantee what happened in Flint doesn't happen here in this great city of Newark.
Thank you. I know the governor has to go, so I'm going to come up, Governor Cody.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, when I got the email last night at midnight, that's right. I said, I got to come down. And I got to come down because when you won that election, Mayor, down at the Robert Treat, you didn't envision you'd have a problem with the water like Flint, Michigan. He was criticized, and criticized. It's all his fault. But he stood up. It wasn't easy, and that's why we're here today. He took the steps that needed to be taken to get the job done. Now, when he was getting sworn in, I don't think he envisioned this, and he didn't envision a pandemic. I mean, what else can you be hit with, right? But Newark survived it in one of the leading states in the country in terms of fighting the pandemic, and he's doing the job. Then he's hit with civil unrest. Can you tell me any other city in this country of this size that handled it as well as the city of Newark? Come on, give this man credit. Give him credit. He's done the job. He has stood up. You want to go to bed every night as the person who's responsible for the lead problem, the pandemic in Newark, and civil unrest? And even want to sign up? I don't think so. But he signed up, and he's gotten the job done. I love him to death, and he's the man. Thank you all very much. And Congressman, you forget we were partners at one time? That was my guy. Without him being speaker, couldn't have done anything. God love you all. Thanks, Mayor.
At this time, I want to bring up the county executive who has been incredibly helpful for us, and this time has been a partner for us all the way through this process.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, what's happening here today is historic in Newark, New Jersey. What's happening in Newark is not happening throughout the state of New Jersey, and it's not happening throughout the country in dealing with this water. And to do something like that, Mayor, you have to have a great team. You got a great council that's been working with you. I see our council people. I want to thank them. But you have a great team, administrative team. This young guy here, Kareem, who I've walked on the project many, many times, he knows how to get the job done. And I want to thank you, Kareem. You know, 18,000 lead pipes, and you already got 12,700. This project would have took 10 years. What happened was when they said that, and it was reported, I contacted the mayor, I believe on a Friday night. I said, listen, be in my office Monday. I think we have a plan. Because Essex County has a AAA bond rating financially, we were able to assist Newark. But it was just not Newark. It was Essex County also. We had Belleville, we had Bloomfield, and Nutley. But today's a great day to be able to meet federal compliance. There's a lot more work to be done. Newark is used as a model now, what you can do when you work together as partners. So congratulations, Mayor. This is a great day for the city of Newark and Essex County.
We'll take some questions from the press on topic. Press only, yes. You have to speak a little louder. It's all right. She's going to bring a mic to you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So when you say the lead levels are lowered, who are they lowered for? I'm trying to get a feel for, you know, what portion of the city is still dealing with lead contamination.
So the lead and copper rule require us, the testing is for the entire city. So we test for the entire city. The part of the city that the corrosion inhibitor fell was the Pequannock system. And the Pequannock system is in, right now, below the 15 parts per billion, because the whole city is below the 15 parts per billion. So out of 118 samples that was taken in the Pequannock system, they're below the 15 parts per billion.
Yes. Give her the mic.
So I just wanted to clarify, when do you expect the DEP to make the results official, and how many, are there any samples still remaining that need to be, you know, accounted for?
99.5% of our samples have been analyzed and tested by our testing companies, our scientists, and our consultants have reviewed the data. DEP will probably be reviewing it any day now. It's preliminary. I don't see why not. You can go on Water Watch and see the preliminary results. Our executive team and our consultants and our scientists don't foresee a change in those results increasing.
Yeah, I do want to reiterate that he said it's already up on Water Watch. I also want to say that when the results are above 15 parts per billion, the same process takes place. They test it, we give it to the state, and the state leaks it to you. And then you print it. So that process didn't work right this time. So we're trying to make it work today. Another question.
So were all the sampling that was done, it was at the reservoir, Pequannock, and all the samples in Newark, was it all, everything came in below 15 parts per billion?
I'll let them answer that, but it's not at the reservoir, it's at people's homes.
What did you say?
He said,
And were all the samples, was it 472 samples you said, were they all tested below 15 parts per billion?
No.
Or 14.1 an average?
No. We tested 172 locations. About 15 or 16 were above the, I want to say about 15 was above the 15.4 parts per billion mark. So we always say 15 ppb, but it's really 15.4 parts per billion. All right? So about 15 or 16 were above. And just a correction, for most of us that don't understand the lead and copper rule, so the city, although we have a Wanacue and a Pequannock system, when we test as one system whole, one whole system. So those 172 compromised the entire system, the 118 samples in the Pequannock and about 54 in the Wanacue. What's being done at the ones that tested above 15 parts per billion? What's being done there? So the ones that tested above 15 parts per billion, because this testing took place in the last 6 months, some of those service lines has already been replaced. Some of those locations we go to and we perform an investigation and more public education, making sure the residents are using the filters right, or they have a filter, they're using the replacement cartridges, that they're cleaning the aerators, that they're following the procedures that we laid out. So we go and visit those homes and just go over that process to ensure that they're doing the right thing and see where they're at on the list to get that lead line replaced. We try to, make sure it's getting replaced.
I have a couple questions. First, when does the city now project that the lead line replacement will be complete? And it seems like you're really attributing these new positive results to the orthophosphate. But if you can, how much of the lead service line replacement, how much of a role do you believe, if you can even say so, plays? And then finally, if I can, the NRDC lawsuit related to this issue, what's the city's position on that now that you're in this position, and what's the status?
the first part is above my pay grade, dog.
So the first part, I just want to repeat yourself because you're a little low. Crystal, can you, Crystal?
What part is
When will the lead service?
So the lead service lines replacement, the sampling for the lead service line replacement doesn't take any, is not a part of the results that we're giving you. That's a separate test. That's called the post-replacement test. The post-replacement test is not compliance sampling, so we don't submit that as compliance sampling. That's a whole different sampling pool. To date, we launched maybe a little over a month ago a post-sampling replacement program where we have 120 water audit. We mail out these little kits. My apologies for not bringing one here today to residents, and they send it back. So that's not reported as compliance sampling. That's post-replacement sampling. So we follow the same procedures if somebody had a post-replacement. We normally test water after 6 months. 6 months after your line is replaced, we're required, to come out and test your water to make sure you're following all those procedures. The next question.
When will the lead service line replacements be done?
The lead service, we're anticipating 24 to 30 months. That's what we rolled out in the beginning, and we're still on course. Although we're ahead a little bit right now, it may be quicker, but we're still staying to the timeline of 24 to 30 months. The target completion date would be the summer, 24 to 30 months. Right. So 24 to 30 months, so sometime, next year.
Kareem, of the 172 samples, how many of those were homes with lead service lines versus homes that had their lead service line replaced?
How many of them were what?
Were homes with lead service lines versus homes that
All
had
of
their
them.
lead service lines, all of them?
All of them.
All 172?
Everyone that we tested, 118, to the best of my knowledge, 172, all of them were lead service lines. So lines that don't have lead, we don't put them in our sampling pool. We want to track the orthophosphate, seeing the results. We want to see if it's working, so we need to go directly to those homes that have lead lines, not non-lead lines.
And then my second question is the recommendation still for residents that have lead service lines to continue to use the filters and flush their water, flush and filter?
Yes, until we notify you otherwise. We want you to follow all the steps that we rolled out. Thank you.
So was the current sample period collected prior to the summer?
The sampling period for this sampling period is from January the 1st to June 30th.
Okay,
It's a
so
6-month testing period.
because lead leaches more in the heat, how will Newark ensure that the PPB kind of stands up to worst case scenarios?
So I don't know what the worst case scenarios are about the heat. I do know that we're still replacing lead service lines. I know that yesterday we started sending out kits again, start testing people. So every month we send out about 30 to 40 kits per month and try to get all 100% of those back. Sometimes we get 50% of them back, and that's how we get the number. So we test every 6 months, every month. So in December December 31st will be the last testing date for the next 6 months, and sometime in January we'll be sharing those results. But if you could,
Raw water temperature doesn't vary much anyway.
and the raw water temperature coming from the reservoirs doesn't vary with the heat change. But I'll let CDM Tom share.
Yeah, so the question about the heat, summer months, and concerns of the water temperature changing and affecting the results, really the water coming into the home, the temperature varies very little. The bigger issue is downstream where, the hot water service. And, we've directed the residents not to run hot water through the filters already. That's part of the protocol.
And just to help you out a little bit, the city, back in July of 2019, we have a pilot program that's running our treatment plant. We had a pipe loop racks with about 12 lead pipes on them and some copper pipes on them. So we're monitoring that every day, daily, right? How water changes, how temperature changes, how treatment changes, to see the effects of lead on those remaining services in this Pequannock area, to see what the effects would be. So that's a pilot program that we got on, and it'll be ongoing until we finish. That's another step that we have to monitor the lead results.
I would invite you to come up and see the pipe loop study. I had an opportunity to look at that. I would invite people to come and see that on their own, to see what's happening at the plant yourself, so you can see that that's being monitored, and we're not just out here going eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I just wanted to follow up on my question from earlier. The NRDC, I don't think we got a response on that.
Yeah, it's still going forward. Hopefully it'll be resolved. We never wanted to have a fight. I mean, people want to fight us, we just defend ourselves. That's all. Prayerfully it'll be resolved. That's it. No more questions. Thank you. I appreciate all of you coming out today.